All right. Sorry for the last minute change, but yeah, we got Jacob coming up from Nami. He's a CEO, and he's going to talk about crypto after Luna, how to build in a bear market. Should be a good one. I mean, it's very, very timely. So yeah, let's do it. Give it up for Jacob.
Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me well? Perfect. So I have to say that I had a different presentation prepared, but given the current market conditions, I decided to change at the very last minute. So I hope that it makes sense. I just put a bunch of slides together. So hopefully will make sense. So let me tell you a little bit about ourselves, who we are, our history, and what is that we have been doing. So we're a 14-year-old company. We are originally coming from Norway. We did something very different before. We did content aggregation and distribution, having quite a bit of success, serving about 50 million users a day. And back in the end of 2016, we started looking at blockchain as a technology that could help us to leverage our knowledge to basically build a micropayment system. Now, as we started working on that platform, we realized that Ethereum blockchain did not scale. And what was even worse was that nobody really was going to be fixing that problem. So what we did was a pivot within a pivot, and we ended up building what is called a scaling protocol, a layer 2 solution. We were one of the first ones in the market. We hit mainnet back in November 2018. And since then, we have built a second version of it. The first version moved about $500 million worth of payments. Was only payments only. The second version is EVM compatible with full smart contract capabilities. We're a team of about 30 of us. We're spread from Asia, Europe, Africa, and the US. So I think that this summarizes pretty well the current market conditions. And within the market, you have two types of teams. You have those who have been around for a while and the new ones. Equally, you have investors, retail investors who have been around for some time, and then the new ones. So this meme is used very, very often when the bad times come, unfortunately. We are on the left-hand side of the meme. We are the ugly guys, the guys who scare the newer guys, the guys who don't get scared easily because of our DNA, our background, and the fact that we have been around for so long. We had the pleasure, of going through the last bear market. It was, to say the least, a very interesting opportunity for us all. A lot of lessons learned, and that is precisely why we have decided to change things around. So the question that many teams will come across right now is, so what do we do now, right? So tens of billions of dollars were wiped out in just basically 3 days. A lot of doubt is being put into people's minds. Capital will probably run low. People will be overly exposed, so they will have difficulties. Again, we have been on those shoes before. But really comes down to three things. One of them is survivability. So you need to find that edge that you have that nobody else has. You need to find the right amount of grit, and you need to be able to put your head down and keep on grinding. The other one is understanding very well what your leverage might be. And believe it or not, even during the times of downturns and bear markets, there is always a leverage. You just need to understand it. Ideally, though, if you have been around for some time, you would have built that leverage through the bull market. And that, of course, is a different topic that we could talk about it for a long time because, unfortunately, there is too much FOMO, too much nonsense. But either way, you need to understand what your leverage is. And the third, which is probably not very sexy to talk about it, but boring is fun. And boring is fun if the intent that you have, if the objective that you have is really building value, creating something. Because during the bear market, boring is is your best friend. Meaning you don't have all the noise, you don't have all the FUD, you don't have all the FOMO. You basically have got time, you have the right environment to put your head down, talk with your team, synchronize, come up with a strategy, and execute. Now, with that said, of course, the question is, what is going to drive the next bull run, right? And by looking at the one that might have just finished, that of course nobody knows, I must say. The question is it going to be DeFi? Is it going to be NFTs? Is it going to be the metaverse? Is it just going to be uneducated money from retail investors wanting to ape into the next big thing, hoping to get a 10, 100x overnight? Reality is, of course, that nobody has got a crystal ball. Nobody can see it. Nobody knows. Definitely, I don't know. But what I would put my money on is that we need a safer, better, more mature environment. Now, just to be abundantly clear, I'm not a compliance maximalist in any way, shape, or form. I just think that you definitely need some level of protection for individuals, right? With that said, there are three items here that we believe that are necessary. And again, this is nothing new for us. This is not a new hypothesis we have come up with. We designed those goals and that hypothesis back in 2017 when we got into it. So first of all, you need something that works at scale. And surprise, surprise, that doesn't exist just yet, or exists, but unfortunately is not spoken about enough. So you need the same way as if you would like to build a Web 2 solution, you can get right out of the box dozens, if not hundreds of products that actually work at a scale. Unfortunately, you don't have that the same way in Web 3, but that is a building block that you need. Second is some level of compliance. And why am I talking about compliance? I'm talking about compliance not from the crypto degen point of view, but mostly from what we think is going to be the next big wave, which is going to be big companies, potentially institutional players, wanting to come in and build something big for not 1,000 degens or 100,000, but for maybe millions, if not hundreds of millions of people. Therefore, you need that regulatory framework, might be very lax, might be very strict, whereby those big players can deploy solutions for their customers. And last but not least, also you need cost and performance. And cost as well is what we would call one of the big elephants in the room that crypto companies don't want to talk about, which is building something that it is sustainable, that whereby the total cost of ownership is understood by those people who are going to put the money on the table to build a solution. And now the ROI is also clear. Now, the question is, why are we talking about this, and why do we feel that that's the right way, and how are we going to implement that solution? So we clearly have got an unfair advantage. And just to be abundantly clear, this unfair advantage is not something that we just put out of our pockets. It's something that has cost us millions of dollars, years of work, and we're a team of 30 building this. So first of all, as indicated on the meme at the very beginning, we have been there, we have done that. We went through that bear market, we went through that nasty conditions, through those boring years. Second, we have technology that is already in place, and it is working, and that's a big plus. So maybe some of you will be accustomed to listening to other crypto projects promising that they will build something in the future. Just give them the money, I might just do it. Unfortunately, most of those cases never is built. Third, you need to have a clear understanding of who you are, what you want to do, what are your principles, and stick to those. And also, you need to make sure you don't buy into the FOMO. And why do I say that? I say that because after the bear market, the bull market comes. And when the bull market comes, a lot of noise comes with it. And it's very tempting to move away from your principles and what you have been doing and then just give yourself up to it, right? It just doesn't work. Something else that our fair advantage gives us, or some of the items that are part of our fair advantage, is the fact that if you have been in the software industry for long enough, then you know that building solutions takes time. It takes actually an awful amount of time. Now, some people might claim, well, but I know about this crypto team that deployed the solution just a week or 2 weeks. Yeah, it's true. But how did that product end up? That's one thing. Second, what was that product targeting? Was it targeting really commercial adoption? Was really targeting millions and millions of users, or is just targeting, just the average crypto DJs that will ape in, make some money, and then bugger off? Also, we have been in the situation before where we built a system that was used by 50 million users a day, and that is also part of our unfair advantage, because we have the right amount of empathy towards the users of the products we'll build. Therefore, we are better positioned, or well positioned, to do what is that, to build what is that people would like to do, right? Now, more importantly as well, since we have been, since we finished building the infrastructure that we have been working on these last few years, now we are focused on the ecosystem. We have a Skunk DAO, which is a DAO purposely built to enhance our ecosystem and nurture our ecosystem and build a bunch of solutions. And more importantly, what we're looking for in targeting is commercial adoption. That's what we think is going to happen. So these things together is what gives us the unfair advantage. Of course, Skunk DAO, we have some pretty cool art being done. The Skunk, the name comes from Skunkworks. Some of us are old enough to remember what a Skunkworks was. Some of you as well. And that's what I want to talk to you about. So thank you for your time, and all the best through this cycle. You guys have got any questions? Yes, no? Sure.
Would you agree that there's a better vibe around crypto conferences in a bear market, aside from a bull market? Because here you really see that we're the convicted, we're like-minded, and we all believe in crypto. Is that kind of what you feel? To me, I just like, in the bear market, I really sense that the people here are so passionate about blockchain or interested still that they're not affected by the bear market, that they're not going to not come here because of that. So I kind of want to just hear your thoughts on, it's not really a question, it's more just like an observation, but what are your thoughts? Because I was listening and I enjoyed your speech. Was thankfully brought here. I feel like the universe brought me here. And, the real Luna is still shining above us, right? So, and the real Luna is where we're going. Why did Elon buy Twitter? Maybe because we're going to the moon, right? Literally.
Maybe.
And also, I feel like the market is big capital raises to do that. So, we should know that there's a lot of USDC right now, and there's a lot of liquidity that still exists. So that's a really good thing for blockchain.
So,
and then you can maybe I would love feedback on just that thought.
Of course. So I'll start by saying that I believe that the acquisition of Twitter by Elon Musk is put on hold until Twitter demonstrates that less than 5% of the accounts are not fake or bots. So it might actually not go through. Just
that's actually thank you for telling me that. And this is completely aside from Twitter, just like Bezos, Richard Branson, why are we all trying to go to space right now? I think, not because we're bearish on planet Earth, it's just because we're expanding evolutionary. And I feel like we're almost kind of building the space economy here. It's cool.
So I actually think that so there are not that many conferences through a bear market. Those that exist, they tend to be older, and they have the people attending them. They tend to have a long-term mentality play, right? So conferences during a bull market are actually not fun, right? Because they don't have enough substance. So for a conference to have substance, people have to sit down and reflect on what is the current state of affairs, what is the status quo, what is really that, what is that we really want to do, right? And that is why I think that bear markets buy time, they remove all the noise, and they give builders the opportunity to really, deploy the proper strategy. The strategy should never be, let's hit the market ASAP, because otherwise we're going to miss the opportunity to make some quick money, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, everybody likes money, everybody wants money, everybody needs money, but money should never be the driver, right?
I am not Jim Cramer saying buy, 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 buy. Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm so convicted on the tech, and I really appreciate you because I 100% agree with what you said. This should be a packed room right now, right? There's so many people at the conference who are hurting because of what happened to Luna.
Yeah.
That they really would have benefited a lot from hearing you speak just right now. Like, I wish there was a lot more people in this room. Like, so you guys have really benefited from this guy's great knowledge, and so like, just like the meaning I like the vibes during this market is that there is like kind of that quiet connection that I can make directly to you that if it was a packed house may not quite happen. So we are the convicted. We are the ones that believe in this, and we are our hodlers of the future. Money aside of it. You're the man. Like, thank you. This was like
Thank you.
confirming to how I'm feeling about just everything.
Thank you. I mean, I suppose that everybody should understand that although we're maybe in a bear market, but definitely $40 million have been wiped out of value, right? So, and there are thousands of people hurting. And, everybody might have heard about the sad stories that have unfolded these last few hours and days. But reality is that this shall pass, right? So we will have the opportunity to take products to market. Hopefully, it will be more mature. Maybe hopefully as well, the intent of the teams building the solutions will be more honorable, right? They will have as well in mind the long play and the long-term play, and they will want to build value, right? So, plus, of course, we also need the education part coming from retail and institutions. They need to be educated, because quite frankly, crypto is pretty complex, and most people, they want to skip the education part just to get to the money. Right? So if this wasn't about making money, I can guarantee you that less than 1% of the people that is today in crypto would be in crypto. Right? If this was only about having to be educated. So people just want to get the fucking money. Which, again, I understand it, but it should be more about other things, right?
You're absolutely right, and you are an amazing educator. So exactly what you just said, keep going, brother. Keep rocking. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Cheers, guys. Bye.